Welcome, incoming CIA Greystone students. Thank you for joining us today for our virtual Green and Gold orientation to discuss your enrollment checklist. My name is Allison, and I serve as the Assistant Director of Admissions for the CIA at Greystone. Before we begin, I wanted to go over some housekeeping items for the presentation. This presentation is geared towards our associate students who are enrolling this fall. But if you are watching and you are an admitted student for a later semester or a different program, feel free to follow along as the information will be very similar for later semesters and programs. If you are a prospective student, feel free to follow along for helpful information and reach out to us so that we can be in touch with you regarding your interest in applying to the CIA. I am joined today by my colleague and your enrollment manager, Sofia Wise, who I am sure you know very well by now. Sofia works tirelessly to ensure you will have everything ready to go by the time you arrive on campus in September. Assisting with the Q&A portion is Ella, admissions counselor at Greystone campus. Now, without further ado, let's give a warm round of virtual applause to our presenter, Sofia.
Thank you, Allison, for that amazing intro. I'd like to welcome all of our accepted students for CIA's California campus, the stunning CIA Greystone located in St. Helena in Napa Valley. As mentioned, I'm an enrollment manager for the CIA, and that means for your enrollment at CIA Greystone, I'm here to serve as your go-to person for all your next steps and enrollment questions. As a member of the enrollment team, we are equipped to answer most of the questions you have about the school and your next steps, and we work closely with other departments such as financial aid and student affairs to make sure that you have all the information that you need or are curious about, and to make sure that your required deadlines for those departments are met. So let's start talking about some of those next steps and deadlines. Some of you may have received this sheet that's on broadcast in the mail, but if you didn't, feel free to take a screenshot of the slide so that you can reference it over the next few weeks. Many of you have already had a head start on completing this list, so now's your chance to see if you've missed anything. But if you've only just been recently accepted to the CIA family, I'm going to cover everything that you need to do over the next few weeks. As you're taking a quick look at this list, you'll see that some of the steps and deadlines have passed or are coming up. So if you haven't had a chance to work on these things yet, or you're still working on them, don't panic. Just keep us in the loop about your progress, and we'll work together to make sure that you get it all in. There's still time to get everything done before you get here in September. Now let's take a look at the CIA student portal. This is going to be your biggest tool for doing everything that you need to do. Most of you should have access to this by now, but if you've just recently been accepted to CIA and haven't had a chance to log in yet, this is what it looks like. You'll be able to check your CIA student email account here, and I encourage you to start checking it regularly, maybe 2 or 3 times a week for the time being, because high priority departments like financial aid and career services and even residence life, they're going to contact you through this email account only. As a matter of fact, your email account is through Microsoft Outlook, so you'll be able to pair your CIA account to any smartphone device. Just reach out to any one of us if you need instructions for how to take care of that. Using the View and Pay Account button, you can pay your $300 tuition deposit if you've recently been accepted, or you can pay your semester tuition balance with a credit card, a debit card, or even a bank draft. I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. Now, if you can look at the section here titled Self-Service Menu, this is the spot where you'll be able to see your financial aid award letter and any requirements for that department. You'll also be able to review your tuition bill and class schedule in this section once those items become available. We'll talk more about that as well coming up. Lastly, take a look at the to-do list. This is a listing of all the items that you can complete prior to starting classes in September. Some items may check off and others may not check off. And it's okay if you complete a task on the checklist without the checklist updating. This is here for you to reference to help you stay on track over the next few weeks with many of these next steps with clickable links and documents. You'll see it in just a second. All right, so on the checklist, I have highlighted a few things for you to prioritize as you're getting started, or maybe just to review to see if you've done them. The first item is actually the free application for federal student aid, or FAFSA, in order to find out if you're eligible for some federal financial aid. It's really important to do this step early because it can take up to 5 business days for us to receive a completed FAFSA application. Our school code is 007304, and it can be found under the state of New York because that's where CIA's flagship campus is located. If you've already paid your $300 tuition deposit, you can still apply for on-campus housing if you haven't done it yet, to stay in our residence halls. We are getting close to having the housing assignments ready for students, and these should be available a couple of weeks from now. Waiting to submit the housing application could result in a delay of getting an assignment. Plus, if you're living off campus and are commuting to school, there is an option to select commuter status within the application. We do need to know if you are commuting to campus for classes. The next item was the medical forms. Just click on the line item that was on the checklist to open the PDF file to the medical forms, and you can download and print a copy that's blank to submit to your doctor. The forms must be completed by a licensed medical professional. If for any reason you're not able to see your primary care physician before the enrollment date, or maybe you just can't get an appointment, someone from an urgent care center or a hospital will work just fine. You'll need to have a physical examination done within 1 calendar year of your scheduled enrollment date. So for example, if your last exam was in December 2019, your doctor can use the results for this form. We'll also need proof of your vaccinations. If you or your doctor can't locate your vaccination records, you can ask the doctor to have your blood tested to make sure that the vaccinations are still active in your bloodstream. And if you currently have health insurance, we do need a copy of your insurance card with the medical forms. Insurance isn't required for U.S. citizens and permanent residents, but if you do have medical insurance, we will need a copy of the card. International students are required to have health insurance while attending CIA. And you can scan or take clear pictures of each page and email the forms to CIA Health Services at culinary.edu or enrollment@culinary.edu. It's the fastest way for us to receive these documents. I don't recommend mailing them because the mail can always be delayed. And we are approaching the deadline of July 25th to have these forms turned in. If you've submitted the forms already, please allow up to 2 weeks for a health services team to process and review the forms. If you are having trouble meeting this deadline, though, we have recently been accepted to CIA. Don't panic. Just keep us in the loop about your status so that we can work together to get this piece done. With the current pandemic, it might be hard to get an appointment quickly, so just let us know where you're at. And I know I've heard from a few from you already, letting me know that your forms are going to be late. It's okay. Just keep us in the loop about what's going on. All right, next on that list was your chef's uniform. All students will need to click on the checklist line so that you can order the uniform, because it's going to redirect you to our partner website, Ultimate Image. Here, you're going to select your degree program and put in the best estimate that you can make for your jacket and pant sizes. Don't worry, you'll be able to try on everything during orientation just to make sure that you pick the right size. The cost of the uniform is included in your tuition, so there's no need to purchase anything from the website. The only thing not included with the uniform are shoes. You can buy kitchen shoes from the website if you want, but you don't have to. Most students prefer to buy shoes that they've been able to try on in a store, just to make sure that they feel good and they fit right. You're going to be spending a lot of time on your feet, so make sure that you're getting something that's comfortable, and as long as they're black, non-slip, and closed-toed, you're going to be good to go. You'll receive 7 chef coats, 7 sets of pants, 4 neckerchiefs, 5 aprons, 5 side towels, and 3 skull caps. Culinary students, you're also going to get a Mercer brand knife kit with your uniform pack, and baking and pastry students, you will have a pastry kit as well. Okay, so in addition to chef whites, all students are going to need to follow the professionalism and hygiene policy. So you must be clean shaven, and this includes when you're having your picture taken for your student ID card. No visible piercings during class, and your hair color must be a natural color. So no pink, blue, green, purple, etc. And I do want to add that it doesn't have to be your natural hair color. It just has to be a human hair color that occurs in nature. So if you're a brunette right now, but you want to be a redhead, that's okay. It's a natural hair color. And your nails must also be trimmed and polish free. If for any reason that you are in an academic building and not attending one of your kitchen classes, maybe you're there for an event or tutoring, you must be dressed in business casual. So this means slacks and button-down shirts and polos or skirts that are fingertip length. The easiest way that I can describe it is to dress like you're going to a job interview, from your shirt to your shoes. And one other thing I want to add, everyone will need to wear a face mask on campus. CIA will give you 2 face masks each day, but you can also bring your own cloth face masks to wear, as long as they are of a solid color and don't feature any logos or wording on them. All right, back to the home screen. So we can take a look at financial aid now. So make sure under self-service, you click to the financial aid tab to open up that drop-down and click the option that says View My Financial Aid. And it's going to bring you to a different section of the portal. The first item on this list is to file a free application for federal student aid, or FAFSA, which we talked about earlier. As I said, it could take up to 5 business days for us to receive this completed application. And again, you can look for our school code under the state of New York, where our flagship campus is located. If you've already completed the FAFSA, some of you might receive this line item that says complete required documents. Not everyone has this, but some of you may. If you do see this item on your list, though, be sure to click into the link and see what additional items our financial aid office is requesting. It may be tax documents or worksheets of some kind. In any case, not sending in these documents could hold up your access to certain types of aid and could affect your tuition balance that will need to be paid before the payment deadline. Next, review and accept your financial aid award package. Here you'll be able to see any scholarships that you've already been awarded from CIA and any aid you might be offered from FAFSA. You can also accept or decline any student loans that you may have been offered. Loans are always optional, so be sure to review those items on your award letter closely. If you haven't done this step already, be sure to take care of this ASAP because the items on this page do need to be completed. If you do decide to accept your federal student loans from your award letter, you will then need to complete the entrance counseling and the master promissory note. These are required by the federal government if you are taking those federal loans. You can complete both of these items at studentaid.gov. Studentaid.gov is the same website where you completed your FAFSA, so you'll log in with the same username information. And it can take up to 30 minutes to complete both of these items. Again, if you haven't done this step already, or maybe you can't remember if you did it or not, just take some time this week to take a look at this part of the portal and complete those 2 things. And there's still other options that you can look into to try to boost your overall financial aid package. For one, there is the Alumni Referral Scholarship. If you have a personal connection with a CIA graduate from either the Greystone campus, the New York campus, or the Texas campus, and they agree to write a letter of recommendation recommending you to our program in our school and to say why you'd be such a great fit, you could be eligible to receive a one-time $1,000 scholarship to be used here at CIA for your first year. You can also send us your SAT or your ACT scores if you've already taken them. Even though tests weren't necessary for your admission application, depending on the score you made, they could be used in consideration for your CIA Excellence Scholarship. So please send us your official score report so that we can just take a look. Next, we have a collection of chef scholarships. That's chef spelled with a $HEF. It can be found on the bottom section of your student portal under important links. And this is CIA's very own database for scholarships that are donated to the school from organizations and benefactors such as Hershey's, like Hershey's Chocolate, and Williams-Sonoma. And they're offered exclusively to CIA students. So if you're not competing with other students attending other colleges trying to get these scholarships, it's only for people at our school. New scholarships are listed each semester, and scholarship applications for fall 2020. A lot of them have already been taken down. We've just recently passed one of the most of the deadlines for them, but keep checking periodically because sometimes things get added late in the game. And then you can also start looking at scholarships for the following semesters as well. And also don't forget that there are thousands of scholarships that you can search for and apply for that are just out there. Fastweb.com, supercollege.com, scholarships.com, plus search your local community. Local charities and Rotary clubs are great places to start. They may be even offering scholarships as well. And another reason why you should file with FAFSA, like I said, it's optional, but it's highly encouraged, is that many of those private scholarships that you'll find on those databases, they want to see a FAFSA on file just as one of their application components. It's up to them how closely they want to look at it, but many will require it as just one piece of their application. So it never hurts. You can only help. All right, registration and billing. It's going to be done automatically for deposited students. If you've already, and many of you already have your billing statement on your student portal. So if you've recently deposited within the last few days, it's going to be up very soon. You'll find the information under financial information and then view account activity where the arrow is pointing. And this will bring you to your billing statement page. Believe it or not, you're actually going to find your class schedule here too, but not just yet. Right now, it's just your billing detail. Your list of classes will be posted here within the next couple of weeks. And once those are posted here, I'm going to email everyone at the same time once those are ready to view. So you haven't missed anything yet, just stand by for that email. I know you're all excited to see your class schedules. I'll even send you information about textbooks at that time. If you haven't had a chance to look at this statement page, I encourage you to do so this week as well. All right, now for paying your tuition. As you saw from the checklist at the beginning of the presentation, tuition is due by August 9th. You'll need to have your tuition paid in full or set up for a payment plan and pay the first installment on a 4-pay installment plan, or have an approved federal Parent Plus loan or a private alternative loan in place to cover your tuition balance. Even the best financial aid packages may not be enough to cover your tuition and fees, so I do encourage you to start planning for how to make that payment. If you're not sure where to start, just reach out to myself or the enrollment team and we'll walk you through the options. If you're interested in making a payment in full or signing up for a 4-pay payment plan, follow the arrow that's pointed on the screen to the link that's going to save you in Pay Account. And it's going to bring you up to the payments part of the portal. You can either choose to make a one-time payment or you can set up a monthly payment plan, which is a 4-installment pay. There is a $60 fee to sign up for the payment plan each semester, and you can tie the payments for the payment plan to a checking savings account as an auto draft or even to a credit card. If you do the payment plan, I do recommend auto scheduling each of your future installment payments just in case you get busy and forget that you have installments that are due in September, October, and November. And as I said, the Make the Payment button, the one in green, you can either pay in full with a bank draft there as well, or you can pay with a credit card. And any payment that you make with a credit card, you're going to be charged a 2.85% interest fee. Now, from the moment you begin classes, your academic and financial information are protected under the Federal Education Rights and Privacy Act, or FERPA for short. This means that CIA is not able to share information about your student record, including that tuition bill, with anyone you haven't already listed on the consent form once you start your classes. So if you have a parent or guardian or a family member that's helping with school, you're going to have to complete that form and list their name so that our offices can speak freely to them about your account, your bills, your classes, anything related to your time here. You can also add or remove any names that you've already listed at any point. Just contact Student Services so that you can remove or change names on that document. And once you complete the form, you can send that over to the enrollment office or to myself, and I'll make sure that gets added to your portal and your student account. All right, so let's recap our steps and deadlines. While we wanted the housing application due by July 13th, you can still submit it. There just might be a delay in getting your housing assignment next month. Medical forms, July 25th, which is Saturday, again, is the due date. Just let us know if you're having difficulty making this deadline. We'll take care of you. Allow a couple of weeks for your forms to be marked received after you do submit them, though. August 1st, try to have your uniform order in. It will take a couple weeks afterwards for the portal to update with this item as well. It doesn't update in real time. Also, I'll send you information about textbooks and classes once those are ready. Monday, September 7th, Labor Day, is your scheduled move-in and orientation day. You'll receive more information about that next month. Finally, before we end the presentation, I want you to know that you're going to have a team of amazing people on campus supporting you, cheering you on, and serving as your go-to resources the entire time that you're here. Starting something new is nerve-wracking for anybody, no matter what it is, but we want you to know that it's okay to feel nervous and that you're not alone in these feelings. And we are here for you. We're here to listen to your concerns and to talk you through your questions. And we're also here to help you find solutions so that you are comfortable and that we can help set you up for success, not just at the beginning of the program, but through the entire time that you're here at CIA. Some of you may already be acquainted with them, and some of you may have already been actively working with them. But if you're not, Rebecca Evans, Maria Cajola, and Ashley Garcia are key members of your team at CIA. Rebecca Evans is your student financial planner and will be there to help you with any questions you have about financial aid, FAFSA required documents, payments, and scholarships throughout your program. Maria Cajola and Academic Support Services will help you with study skills, tutoring, learning and health accommodation, and she also teaches an extracurricular yoga class for you guys. Ashley Garcia in Student Affairs helps to plan and coordinate recreational programming and events on campus, including orientation and graduation. Plus, she is our designated school official for international students. She wears so many hats. So if you're ever in the Student Services office and you're not sure where to start, Ashley will take care of you. Oh, and one last thing. I want you to start to plan to have fun while you're here, because you're going to love every minute of your time here at CIA in Napa Valley, because there's no other place like it. We are your team, and we can't wait for you to get here in September. We're so excited. So now it's time for your questions.
All right, thank you, Sophia, for that extremely helpful information. Just as a reminder, you can send us your questions through the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen. But let's go ahead and get started. So, Sophia, we're getting a lot of questions, as you can imagine, about getting on campus. Students are really excited to start that orientation piece. So I know that you said we would be getting more information about that in the month to come. But just to start off, what is the move-in date for that September class?
It's going to be Monday, September 7th, Labor Day.
And is that when students can move into their dorms?
That is when students can move into the dorms. Typically move-in is in the morning. However, we are still kind of working on the logistics of how we're going to do the move-in procedure for the fall semester, just to make sure that there's plenty of time to space everybody out with social distancing guidelines in place.
Fantastic.
Again, stay tuned.
Yeah. And what can students bring to their dorm, and what will be provided?
Okay. Well, each dorm room is going to have a bed with a mattress. You're going to have a desk, a chair, a dresser, and everyone's going to have a stand-up wardrobe. So you do, in a sense, get your own closet space. Also, each room will have its own bathroom. So no common floor bathrooms like you see in like other large college traditional dorming areas. As far as what to bring, I recommend bringing only the essentials and maybe a few creature comforts. So essentials would be your bedding, towels, extra clothing, maybe a small television, some movies, a few books, toiletries, and cleaning supplies. You are going to have to keep your room clean and your bathroom clean. Maybe an iron and an ironing board, and some heavy-duty detergent and bleach to keep your chef whites sparkling white.
And there is a laundry facility on campus for those who are asking. Do not worry, you have free laundry available to you. Now, Allison, this next question is for you. As you can imagine, we're getting a lot of questions about COVID and how that's going to be affecting our students in the fall. So do you mind talking a little bit more about the safety precautions that CIA is following?
Sure, thank you. Yeah, I know that's the big question that everyone is asking and should be asking. So we are very grateful and thankful that we are open. We've been open at Greystone for a little over a month, and of course we're following social distancing. We're following, everyone goes through a health screening every day that we walk through the door, all students, all staff, all faculty. We are not open to the public, so you know, we are a family, so this is even more so. It's keeping us tight knit. All of our students, everyone is wearing masks and are given masks daily, but also our students who are in the kitchens are wearing masks as well as face shields. And of course, as far as lunch or dinner are concerned, because you guys are the ones that are making us our fabulous lunch and dinner, those are going into like to-go containers. So you can pick a to-go container up. It's still the fabulous CIA food that you all are preparing for us, and it's displayed beautifully in a to-go container. And you can take that back to your dorm, or you can take it outside. All the tables are set up, at least 6 feet apart. Everything is kind of cordoned off appropriately. And so those are just a few of the things that we've been doing for the last month. Lecture classes for the fall. Some of your lecture classes will be online, and some will be in person on campus. Of course, your culinary fundamentals and your baking and pastry techniques, the times where you're in your kitchen or the bake shop, those are still going to be in-house. So those will still be on campus, as well as a couple of your lecture courses, or a few. So we're just just trying to maximize the amount of time that you're on campus, but also make sure that we are safe. And if we're able to do a couple of classes online, and we've actually showed that this past semester, some of the classes that have been online are actually showing to be more successful. The students are actually scoring higher grades and, you know, being able to learn a little bit more and be able to pass it into next classes. So it's been really interesting to see that. So yeah, when Sophia will give you guys your schedule, you'll see some of your classes it'll be more of like a hybrid schedule for this semester. So those are just a few things, but of course we follow local, state, and federal guidelines to make sure that we are up to date.
Fantastic. Now kind of continuing on with that thread, can students bring family, friends, significant others to orientation with them, Sophia?
That's still being worked out, but based on what we did for our summer arrival students, we did not allow any family members or friends or close relatives to attend. Mainly just there for drop-off, not allowed to go into the residence hall. Just staying with the vehicle, be sure that that person is masked, but at this time we are not planning to have any families or groups during orientation.
Fantastic. Now I'm also getting some questions about the uniform. So I know that you addressed this in your presentation, Sophia, but if you could get a little bit more clear about times in which you can wear your uniform versus your formal clothing, specifically when you're in the kitchen versus when you're in the classroom. And then I also have a question about haircuts, and specifically, does the grooming standard apply to your haircuts?
Excellent question. Your chef whites can be worn at any time and anywhere around campus. It doesn't matter if you're in a lecture class or whether you're in a kitchen class. It's like the all-around uniform. But for any time that maybe you're going to your English class, but you don't have your chef whites clean, you can wear professional dress. But just make sure that before you go into your fundamentals class, you switch back into your chef whites.
Yes.
As far as the hair goes, it does need to be neatly kept back. And as much as possible, be hidden under your skull cap. Prior, like if you had like massive hair, you could like do it up and hide it within your toque. I know my hand gestures like trying to describe it. But since we're temporarily doing away with the toques just to make it easier to have like the mask as well as the face shield in the kitchen, switching to the skull caps, just have it like tied back as tightly as possible and as much up as you possibly can so that it's out of the way.
Thank you. Now, Allison, I know that I've been getting a lot of questions about this. Are there public tours available of campus before fall?
Not currently. We are not open to the public. You know, if there is something, you know, where you really need to see Ella or I, and we'd love to see you, we will meet with you outside. Of course, beautiful California, we're able to do that. So it's often sunny and 75. So we're happy to meet with you. I met with a student yesterday who showed up. So we were not able to go inside at this point, but we would be more than happy to, you know, walk with you outside, you know, around the campus grounds. Of course, it is imperative that you bring a mask or we will provide one for you. So that's a little bit of what we're doing now. Also, Miss Ella did an amazing virtual tour before we left, before everything happened. And she was wise enough to do a virtual tour. And so she has that link. If any of you all have not seen the campus or you want to show your aunt or, you know, whoever, or just want to look at it again before you come because you're so excited to come and we're so excited to have you, by all means, let us know and we will send that virtual link out to you.
Fantastic, thank you. Now this next question, I think it's you know, very poignant for the time that our students are about to go into, and it could really be for either one of you, but I'll have Sophia answer it first. This student asks, what's good advice for not being nervous on your first day of school?
Advice? Well, I think it's important to remember that you're not the only one that's nervous. you're going to be there with 100 other brand new students who are just as nervous, probably even more nervous than you are. Some of them might hide it better than others, but you're all going to be feeling exactly the same thing. I promise you that.
Nerves do not discriminate as age, walk of life, where you're from, how many times you've been to college, where you're at. I mean, you're going to be nervous no matter what age you are, or where you're at, or how far or how close you are to campus. And yeah, don't let anybody fool you. Everyone is feeling the same way. But really, that's what the CIA is so good about, is that we believe in a fully immersive experience. So we're going to throw you into the kitchen, and that's going to be like day one. And that's all strategic and intentional. So you're going to feel a lot better at the end of that first week versus I think at like some other types of colleges where you're not really in like the real world, or you're not really in that environment. It's so gradual. Here it's like just throw you in, and we're going to make sure that you swim, and we'll make sure we support you academically, emotionally. There's tons of support here at the Greystone campuses. So, you're going to be fine. You're going to swim. About week 5 or 6, you're going to look at Ella and I with deer in the headlights look and be like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Like now, I'm here. I've been here 5 or 6 weeks. You're right about to head into midterms at that point. So you get a good look of fear, but that's okay. That's what we expect, because that means that you're doing all of your work and that you're staying on target. If you're like, yeah, I've got this at week 5 or 6, I'm thinking, uh-oh, this person needs to make sure that they're cracking open the books and doing everything they need and going to tutoring and knife skills and piping, but you're going to be just fine. We do this 3 times a year. We bring in new students, and we've graduated over 50,000 students. So we're the oldest culinary college in the country. We know what we're doing. We didn't make an accident by accepting you. You were accepted because we believe in you, and we believe that you're going to be an incredible success at the CIA.
Absolutely. Could not have said that better myself. Thank you, both of you. So I have a question for you, Sophia. Does CIA offer medical insurance?
At this time, we do not offer medical insurance, but we do have an accident insurance built into your tuition and fees, so that if you're in the classroom and you drop a hot pan on your foot, you can seek medical treatment under the insurance policy. But if, let's say, you do the same thing, but in your apartment building, CIA's insurance does not cover you in that instance.
And Sophia, I have a student asking about what kind of supplies you would recommend that they bring for their classes.
Sure. Pens, Sharpies, I hear are very popular. Small notebooks that you can put in your chef coat pocket, your sleeve pocket. Pens, pencils, Tide pins to get out small stain. Most everyone has a laptop, but we do have a computer lab that you're free to utilize. A personal printer, more so for convenience. Again, you can print from the computer lab. And like I said, some like creature comforts for maybe some highlighters, like if you like color. I've even seen like little tab inserts to put into your books to mark certain pages. So anything that you think is going to help you study and focus.
Perfect. All right, so Allison, this next question is for you. What is the surrounding area like, and what can students expect to find for fun on the weekends?
The surrounding area is exceptional, I would say, specifically designed for students such as yourselves that are going into the food and beverage and hospitality industry. You're obviously in Napa Valley. So in the Napa Valley, there are a few major towns. So there's, of course, Napa. So that's like the most southern. And then you go to like Yountville, where, that little known restaurant called the French Laundry is located. And then you head up to St. Helena. And so St. Helena is where this school is at. And it's a beautiful little historic, a tourist town. and then just north of that is Calistoga. So those towns kind of just go from south to north, and it takes about an hour, I would say, from Napa to Calistoga. So it's about 35 minutes to get to St. Helena if you're in Napa. Something you'll see every morning pretty much if you're commuting in will be hot air balloons. Almost every single morning. They are going up right now, which is super exciting to see them back in the air. And obviously Napa Valley is known for wine, right? And so wine and fine dining, and that's what you see. So you'll see, you know, those who are living on campus, if you're in vineyard lodges, you are surrounded by vineyards. Your next door neighbor is the Behringer wine bottling facility. Or, you know, when you walk outside in the fall, it's going to smell, it's going to hit you at night and in the morning with wine. So
not even wine, just the fresh grapes. You can smell them from inside your car with the windows rolled up.
That's right. And so hills surround you, it's beautiful, forests. So and then, of course, you know, the fine dining restaurants that are so famous. So we have the highest concentration of Michelin star restaurants in the world per capita in Napa Valley. What you are not going to see around your school is like an Applebee's or a TGI Fridays or a big football stadium. You're not going to see that in the Napa Valley. But what you will see is you're going to get in touch with people like you. Even if they're not at the CIA, they're interested in the same things that you're going to school for, which I think is outstanding, because not many colleges, like you wouldn't go to Iowa to study oceanography. Why would you go somewhere that's not known for food, wine, and hospitality? You know, this is what this whole valley exists for. There's a lot of fun things to do on the weekends. There's a ton of clubs and organizations on campus. So a lot of times students will go into San Francisco, they'll take the ferry and go into San Francisco and go to a game or check out a new restaurant, or just, you know, be able to shop a little. Or go down to Napa if they need any provisions, of course, Target, Walmart, movie theaters, all that good stuff. So, you know, there's a ton of different outdoor activities, paddleboarding, hiking, caving, you name it. And if there's not a club or organization that you see that you're, you know, that you're super passionate about, start one. So one of our students last fall, was really excited about learning more about like showpieces, like sugar and chocolate showpieces. So we started his own showpiece club. So that's a definite possibility. I mean, it's 300 students. So you guys are always doing something, whether it's through a club or organization or it's just on your own. A lot of times you guys will have luau's. So you name it, they've done it. So it's a very tight-knit community, but it is very food focused, which makes sense. So.
Of course.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a better place to study food and wine?
And if you are 21, of course, you know, you have your choice of fabulous wineries to check out. And being a CIA student, they're excited that you're excited, because they would love to see you have their wine when you open up your restaurant. So you may get some perks here and there.
Yeah, absolutely. Sophia, can you speak a little bit more to the meal plan on campus? I know that the meal is included in tuition. So what are students getting with that?
Sure. So with the current meal plan, you are getting 2 meals a day. So on any class day. On the weekends, you're generally on your own, but you do have many fridges and microwaves within your dorm building. There's also grills outside where you can cook, and you're free to bring in any food from off campus into your room.
Fantastic. Yeah. And now I have a question, or I have a student who has some very specific questions around financial aid and their financial aid package. So Sophia, what would you recommend they do in order to get some advice on where to go from here?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, you can contact me through the enrollment office, or on that slide that I had up earlier, Rebecca Evans, she is going to be your go-to person for financial aid and anything with regard to FAFSA or scholarships or payment plans the entire time that you're on campus. So she's a resource that's available to you right now, but she is going to be there for you every day once the semester begins.
And then Allison, for students who are commuting to campus or who want to explore the lovely area that they're in, what is the policy for cars on campus?
bring them on. There's not a $500 parking permit fee. You just basically sign up with the security department, make sure you get your little tag, register your car, and make sure you keep that in display on your car. If you are living on campus, we would recommend and require, obviously, for you to use our shuttles. So we have shuttles that go from the Vineyard Lodges to on campus. It's much easier that way. It takes 5 minutes and it's stress-free. So not to use your car to go onto campus. But if you're off campus, by all means, you'll just drive up. There's plenty of parking. If we have an event, once we're able to host events back on campus, we'll let students know, as well as faculty and staff know, if they need to park off campus, in which case then you would have a shuttle and be shuttled to the campus. So it's pretty easy, user-friendly. Of course, 24/7 security, monitoring those parking lots, and of course, making sure that all of our students are kept safe.
Fantastic.
One other thing I want to add about the parking permit is you can apply for it right now through your student portal. If you're not sure if you want to even bring a car to campus, you can register your vehicle at a later time, whether it's the day before your arrival or a week after your arrival. Maybe you're switching cars. That's okay. The portal will say have your parking permit request in 30 days prior to your enrollment, but that's just a guideline. You can do it at any point. And also make sure that your vehicle registration is current.
Fantastic. Now, Sophia, you mentioned this a couple of times in your presentation, so I just want to once again highlight it for students who are asking, when can students expect more information on their schedule and their textbooks?
Schedule and textbooks, as I said in the presentation, will be at least a couple more weeks. You're going to get information, I'm hoping by the first week of August. So I will email everybody at the same time once it's live on the student portal. So you haven't missed anything. If you feel like you haven't found it yet, it will be there. It will be there. We just appreciate your patience.
Absolutely. And then Allison, a lot of students are obviously excited about beginning, but they're also really excited about that potential internship. So when do students get to start planning that out?
Day 2 at the CIA. Again, the CIA is completely, fully immersive. I want you guys to keep in mind that everything the CIA does is very strategic. I know that Sophia could probably agree with that. Her husband is a CIA graduate, and even when he was attending, it's very strategic. We knew this since 1946. So we know when we want you to have your externship or internship, potato, and that's your 3rd semester. But we begin walking with you and talking with you about that, finding that best site for you starting day 2 of you being here. So you will have prep seminars throughout your 1st and your 2nd semester. You're going to be working with our career advising, and they're going to help you all the way through. You'll be able to access the list, the list that we don't even have access to, with which will house over 2,500 externship sites, both, close by, like the French Laundry, or as far away as the Four Seasons in Dubai. So all of those sites will be able to be available to you, so you can start looking and dreaming and figuring out what is your best fit. So it's not just fine dining restaurants. There is, the Google Kitchens are on there, McCormick's Seasoning, Nestle, if you're interested in culinary science. The world is really your oyster. So we want you to have that time to be able to plan it out. So we begin, having that conversation with you day 2.
Fantastic. Well, unfortunately, that is all the time we have today. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you to our presenter, Sofia Wise, for doing such an amazing job of explaining all of those enrollment next steps. We appreciate all of your questions, and if we weren't able to answer them during our Q&A session, or if we want to provide more details to you, we will contact you after the session. We'll also be adding a recorded copy of this to our website, so you're more than welcome to reference it in the future. Again, thank you all so much for attending today. We cannot wait to see you in September.
So excited. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.